I can say 100% that I escaped from the mental institute more often than anybody else that was there at the time that I was there for those years. But unfortunately, I also have to say that I was on AWOL precautions and suicide precautions more often than anybody else that was there for those years too, which wasn't good. Each time I escaped, I was hoping that I would stay gone. And if you make it 2 weeks, somebody else takes your spot, and then you're on a waiting list, and it can take up to months, or you might not ever get back in. That would have been great, and that's what I wanted. But each time a family member would betray me, and I would end up going right back. I made it back to this town about 3 times. One time I almost made it, one day off of the 2 weeks. My sister helped me. On this escape, I decided to dress up like a woman, and I had everybody help me. The girls that were there, the patients, they gave me clothes. So I was wearing women's clothes. The guy that pierced my ears, he put the makeup on me. Had some fake earrings in both ear, lipstick, the works, everything. My hair, everything. And we didn't celebrate holidays there except for like Christmas and your birthday. And so Halloween, I didn't think about it because, I didn't celebrate it, because you can't go door to door. You're in a mental institute. Your last thing you're thinking about is holidays. Trust me. So when I was hitchhiking to get to a certain point, I felt uncomfortable. I'm thinking like they're gonna know I'm not a woman. So I decided to tell the guy, oh, by the way, I'm not a. I was first talking like a woman, trying to. But then I said, oh, by the way, I'm not a woman. And he goes, oh, I didn't think you were. I thought you were going to a Halloween party. And I'm going, oh, man, Halloween. Because it was just perfect timing on that one. Anyway, then I changed that night at a building that was close to my sister's job and took off all the clothes and all that, and the makeup. But I forgot the lipstick. So the next morning when I went into her job, she goes like, she didn't know I was going to dress up like a woman to leave. But she's going like, why do you have lipstick on your mouth? And then I told her about what I did. And she laughed, Anyway, she took me home and hid me. I almost made it. My niece, every day we practice with her. If anybody asks you about your Uncle Malcolm, you don't say nothing. And then what happens when she sees my mom, Grandma, and she asked if anybody see me, she goes, don't ask me about my Uncle Malcolm because I can't tell you. So then my mom knew, and then she talked me into going back because she was going to turn me in anyway, but allowed me to do it myself. Other time I escaped with a UPS woman. Every time I went somewhere in that town, she would show up to deliver packages. And so eventually she actually stopped me and asked me like, am I lost? And I told her that I need to get to this town. It was funny because she also delivered a package here. And so as she gave me a ride and I told her that I escaped and everything, she said that she had a relative that was in a group home. But that person didn't escape, but she understood and she didn't think that relative should be there. So she helped me out. She brought me just like a mile away from my house and dropped me off. That was really nice. And the other times, actually, I just hitchhiked and walked, got here. That was one more time. But each time I went back. That time when I walked here, I actually got turned in by friends. I went into an apartment. There was like 4 people there. I knew them all. And then all of a sudden they weren't there. And then cops showed up. The same one that took me back every single time that I made it to this town. He was the one that took me back. Anyway, the other times I escaped, I helped people out 3 times. 3 different people. One was pregnant, and then a guy, and they all made it. They had relatives and friends on the outside that didn't agree with the parents putting them in there, and they helped them out. I didn't have that. Every time I thought I would, I get turned back in. It sucked. But anyway, I still have my key. Now, to get out of the hospital, you have to use 2 keys. One's an Allen wrench. To do that, you take a spoon, you move it back and forth, and you got to do it just right. Because if it's too big or too small, it won't open up the Allen wrench You know, I called it a stop sign because I didn't know it was called an Allen wrench back then. And then the other lock is a skeleton key, so you use a wire, like a coat hanger, which is not allowed in there because people could do that. So we have metal snuck in. People did, and that's how I did it. But I still got my skeleton key that I made. Um, when I almost escaped for the 2 weeks, I left it here, and so then when I went back and I eventually got out of the hospital at 17, the key was here in my town. So I've kept it ever since. So when you escape and you come back, then you end up going down a hall. That's the beginning hall. And in that hall, you get nothing. You got a rubber mattress and that's it. AWOL precautions, you can have pajamas. Suicide precautions, you have nothing but your underwear. So I spent most of my time in my underwear or pajamas, and it'd take me weeks to get back on the privilege hall, which you would get a radio and paper and books and no TV though, but a closet, a real bed, a view through a window, a real window. The beginning halls, the windows you can't see through them, so it sucked. I tried to commit suicide several times. I tried to hang myself with a towel, and it didn't hold my weight. But there was other times where I overdosed, and yeah, I spent a lot of time on either AWOL or suicide precautions. I did do good some spots in there, but each time I escaped, I wanted to be gone, and I was hoping that if I was not a bad boy, but if I was resistant, that they would set me free and say he's too much trouble. But no, the more shit you do, the longer they'll keep you there, because it's almost like, fuck you, we're gonna keep you here as long as we can, and they did. So yeah, escaping was fun, creative at times, but it sucked having to get brought back. It really did. There you go. Those are some of the escapes. I can't fit everything in because there's so many things that have happened. On one of my escapes, the guy that I helped leave, and he made it, and the pregnant girl made it. But anyway, with the guy, we ran into a homeless man who ended up betraying us. I wish I could tell you the story about that, but it's so damn long. Anyway, thank you for watching. It's just me keeping it real. Bye.